to our next session, Importance of Gut Health Post-Lockdown. So I would like to welcome Janvi Chitala, an interactive gut microbiome expert and functional nutritionist. She helps in working towards figuring out the root cause of the issue and then reversing it on the basis of using food as medicine by integrating the functional nutrition approach on gut health. So over to you, Janvi.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shatali, for having me here today on We and Women Entrepreneurs Enclave. And thank you, people, for joining us today to hear more about what is gut health. So I think I've had the lovely opportunity probably to just be able to kind of be a part of the last few minutes of I believe Farzana's you know. Talk in that she had, and I think a couple of people like I saw were talking about losing weight. So I'm sure that there's an amazing perspective that she's left you all with in terms of the mindset and things like that. But today I'm here actually to be able to even tell you that apart from obviously the mindset, which is so important, gut health may be one of the major reasons, or having a balanced gut health may be the way that you can actually lose the weight that you want, that you've been trying to lose for maybe many weeks, many months, or many years for that matter of fact. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about gut health, about how can you manage to keep your, overall balance and everything good with keeping good gut health post lockdown, as things are really opening up now, and probably post July things will open up even more. So, looking at that, and definitely helping you to see how so many things in your body are connected to your gut. So thank you so much. And please, I'd love for you all to keep asking your questions in the middle of the chat also, because I'd like to keep this interactive. This will be about a 30 minute session. And I'd like you all to keep it as interactive as possible so that we all can enjoy this process of talking to each other even more. So y'all can either put your questions in chat, or y'all can even unmute yourselves and ask me your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Right, so just a little bit about myself before I just start in. I'm Janvi Chitalia. I'm an integrative gut microbiome expert, like Shatali mentioned, and a functional nutritionist, one of the only few in India right now who's practicing this science in a big way. And, we're here to really make a difference and to be able to create awareness about how important gut health is and how important it can be for so many different things in your life right now. So thank you so much. Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for making yourself a priority today, for making your health a priority today, and giving yourself that time to really be able to nourish yourself with more and more insightful knowledge. So thank you so much for that again. So what is gut really, for the people who may know some of it, but for some of the people who don't know much about gut? So your gut is primarily your intestines. So your intestines are primarily basically so your gut is your intestinal health, and your intestinal health primarily is your small and large intestine is what we're talking about over here. And the most important thing that being about intestinal health is the fact that we, along with our intestines, within our intestines, on our skin, everywhere, we do have a lovely universe of good and bad bacteria that we host within our gut. The bacteria that we've always heard of as being bad is really not bad all the time, but it's something that we need to understand is a really lovely balance. If we have it in a lovely balance within our body, it's the best thing that our body does in terms of having a correct defense system for ourselves. So I think the important part to understand today is that our gut is our intestines, and we know how important digestion is as a root of life for all of us, right? When our stomach is upset, when our stomach, we're constipated, when we're kind of getting a lot of gas and bloating, you don't feel your best. You don't feel your lightest. You don't feel very good. And that's exactly what I'm going to help you all look at. I'm going to give you a lot of tips today, which are hands-on, which I can use at home, because I think there's only value to a session really when you can take back home something and even follow one thing out of that can really add value to where we are at today and how you can actually take back something from the session today. So, importantly, like I'm talking about the fact that the gut health, like I said, is very important, and the microbiome is a small universe of the good and bad bacteria within our gut. That microbiome lives on our skin, it lives in our, it lives in our reproductive system, it lives everywhere. And just because we can't see it, we don't realize how important it truly is for our body. So the most important thing right now to really get on is to see what are the amazing things that the gut can do. So the gut can primarily look at, so I'll just give you a little bit more of an understanding about how unique your gut microbiome can be. So the gut microbiome, like I said, the balance of the good and bad bacteria that we all have in our system is unique to each one of us, as unique as our fingerprint. So it's amazing, right? All of us don't have even the similar kind of a microbiome. It may be similar, but it's not the same. So each one of us are so unique as people, as much as our fingerprints are so unique from each other. In the same way, our microbiome is unique, and that makes us a unique person. So, yeah. All right, I'll come to the questions as I give the introduction. I'll be coming to all the questions. Please keep pouring them in the chat, and I will take that once I finish each subtopic. I will take up your questions. So, can you all hear me clearly? Is there an issue with your, just write down if you all can't hear me clearly, just put that in the chat that if you all can't. I think I can pretty much, see a good broadcast on right now. So, yes, so that was that. Secondly, a very amazing thing is you are only 10% human, so about 90% of your cells are actually belonging to bacteria and fungi, and only 10% of our cells actually belong to human cells. So we are primarily a super microorganism more than being really a superhuman. And it's amazing. When I also learned about these things, when I learned about the science, I was also blown off to learn that, okay, we are primarily just more of, good and bad bacteria, and we're more of a microorganism than we're a human. So we often forget that, and that's so important for us to, understand that about ourselves. Secondly, apart from that, the other thing that I'd love to share with you all is about the fact that why your gut health is so important right now is because it actually manages everything. Your microbiome manages everything from your immunity to your digestion to your happiness or mood quotient. It manages your metabolism, which is so important for us to lose weight. It also manages your hormones or a hormonal balance. When it comes to gut health, is a really important part in how it manages your hormonal balance. And it also manages everything from, like I said, mood, metabolism, immunity, digestion, all of it is taken care of by the gut. So it's really important to understand that it's such an important aspect of where we are at and how our body functions. And last but not the least, to give you another insight about the gut health and why it is so important, is because of the fact that, we all have heard in the last 3 to 4 months with COVID-19, immunity has become like the norm that we all are hearing about. And the most important thing that I'd like to share with you before I move on to some of the questions that have come in is about the fact that 70 to 80% of your immunity cells lie in your gut. So if you really want a good immunity, that's the reason why your gut health really has to be foremost. And I'm going to help you not only get some tips back home, but I'm also going to help you recognize how do you know if you have a gut imbalance. You may say, okay, Janvi, you're talking about this, but how do I know if there is a gut imbalance that I'm facing? How do I come to know about that? So that's exactly. So I'm going to educate you all about the basics of what y'all can do right and recognize the issue in itself, because every time the issue may not present itself as a common just indigestion. There may be several ways that your body can let you know that your gut microbiome is not balanced. So quickly moving into what that can be. Before that, I'd love to answer some of the questions that you have here. So I'm just going to go into the chat. 1 second. Yeah. Just give me a second. Yeah. All right. So for the chat, I'd like to, so somebody, I think Mayuri Basin has asked me, Mayuri Basin has asked me, is eating noodles and pasta good? So again, Mayuri, just to, answer your question, it is really a dependable factor that we're talking about here. When we're talking about having, can you hear me clearly? Yes. So when you're talking about having pasta and noodles, I think it's important to understand that, obviously it depends on, today we have options to have healthier versions of pasta and noodles, things like maybe a, whole grain pasta, or maybe a buckwheat pasta, or, gluten-free pasta. A lot of them are available, which may be genuinely much healthier options. Because if you're looking at only having like a basic maida pasta or a maida noodles, that may not have too much nourishment in it. And it is, kind of devoid of a lot of important nutrients. So if you still like to have pasta and noodles, which are maida based, I'd suggest that you want to definitely try to have more options of having more vegetables along with that. and lesser amount of pasta. If you like and you really just love the taste of your maida noodles and pasta, then you want to add more boiled vegetables to that, and then make that really tasty and nice, and add your chili flakes, oregano. A lot of these herbs are also, oregano is a great herb for your gut. It's very, very good for the good health of your microbiome. So you can definitely try and do that. And if you don't mind, and if you're happy to try different options, then you may want to try a more complex carbohydrate like a buckwheat pasta, or you have a quinoa pasta that's available today. All of these can also be tried instead. And maybe if you like them, then you can continue having them more often as a meal along with vegetables. Also, somebody asked me over in the chat, I believe, about Yakult. So I'd say that Yakult is not my favorite option if you ask me. Typically, because Yakult, primarily is, I don't think it's the best option that we have right now totally available, because of the fact that there is a lot of sugar that's there in some of the products of Yakult. So I'd suggest that you want to try and avoid having Yakult as much as possible. And there are other probiotics that I'm going to come to, which are amazing for your gut health and which is very important right now in the time of post-lockdown opening up, that you have to have probiotics to ensure that the good bacteria is thriving, and so that the balance of your immunity and immune system is taken care of. We all are hearing about vitamin C and maybe vitamin E and other things, but I think it's also important that we understand that the balance of our body is really, really decided by our gut microbiome. So that's why it's really important to have that balance in place. Right, so coming to the next part about what I would love to discuss is, how do you know that you have a gut issue? All right, so I'm going to give you 7 to 8 ways that you may want to note down. And I'll be really, really happy if you feel excited about it. Please share a yes if you think any of these are the issues that you're facing, or if you know if somebody else is facing this. I think it's always nice to have and share and have a discussion. So if you are comfortable, you can definitely put up in the chat when you think you relate to any of the symptoms that I'm discussing here, so that we can further have another extra discussion about it, right? So the whole idea is to really help each other. The whole idea is to really kind of know that, two people can have the same issue and support each other. So if you are comfortable, then please write on the chat yes and yes. If there is a particular symptom that you think is something that you are dealing with, or you know of somebody dealing with that, then we know that, people can relate to it and see that, how we can actually work around these symptoms and find a solution to them. Right? So starting number 1 with the top, so it's not going in any particular order. I'm just sharing the number of things that may be impacting your gut health overall. So number 1 is constipation and diarrhea. So a lot of us have had constipation issues for God knows how many years, and we've thought it's okay to have constipation. We've gone into taking a Faki or a Kayam Churan, or maybe taking a normally Sabgul on a daily basis, or having maybe things like a Triphala or whatever, and maybe thinking that, okay, going once in 2 days, or even going once a day, but having a really hard stool is not constipation. But as a matter of fact, it is constipation. So, to understand, constipation is very relative for the body. And when you're having maybe motions which are not very clear, or which are very hard, and you have to sit for a longer time to clear them, or they are unsatisfactory even after going once, means that you're constipated. So I think it's very important to understand that constipation is really the root cause, of one of the most dangerous ways that you can start really adding more toxins to your body. So don't take it like it's okay if I go once in 2 days, or don't take it like it's all right to be in this situation. Solving constipation is really important. Likewise, another important thing to understand is, a lot of us feel that having 2 to 3 motions or 4 motions sometimes, maybe having 2-3 motions in the morning itself, or having 1 or 2 motions in the morning and then having another emotion in the evening, and which are not very, very tight, or which are not normal stools, is okay. So that again is not okay. If you have a very slightly looser stool, or not a very well-formed stool, that's again not a very good idea. And you may want to check on that factor, that, you don't want to ensure the fact that your motions are regular, normal stool, banana type 4 is really what you want to have. Number 2 is, some of us really suffer from a bad migraine. So every time you wake up in the morning and you feel, oh my God, I have a migraine, I feel like my head is hurting so much. For the first few hours, I feel a lot of heaviness in the head. Or after having lunch, or in the evening after my snack, my headache starts, which continues till the night. That is also a sign that your gut is not okay. The third sign that it could, and like I said, it can present itself in very many different ways. There is no rule book which says that everybody will have all the symptoms, and there is no, kind of complete presentation of it, which is known as a set presentation. So everybody can have a different description of this. So, please, as I said, that if you all are really, really keen, um, I'll be really happy if you all want to share in the chat that, oh, yes, I've experienced this, and how can we deal with that? So I can talk specifically about those concerns that you have and give you all some tips for it that you can take back home. So feel free to mention that on the chat. Number 3, we're talking about stiff joints and pain. So having joint pain, like getting up with a stiff back, or having knee pain, or having ankle pain, or having pain that keeps shifting through the body throughout the day, is another issue that you want to really watch out for, because which is also a sign of a gut health issue. So you want to ensure that if you have probably rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis, so you have a lot of these shifting joint pains, that is a sign that your gut is not working well, and you may want to kind of work around that. Number 3, you want to look at the, number 4, you want to look at the fact that there may be times that you're constantly having gas and bloating. So gas and bloating can really be something that is common. You may have it after meals, you may have it in long gaps when you're not eating. It may happen a couple of times in the day that there is an issue overall when you get up in the morning, there's a lot of gas that you need to pass initially, or at night in your sleep, you pass a lot of gas. All of these factors are a sign that your gut microbiome is not doing well, and you want to really work around that. And taking that bloating on the lower stomach, and suddenly one day, in the morning you're looking great, you're feeling light. By evening, suddenly you're same, when we were going out and we were not in the lockdown, we would socialize, you'd go for social obligations, kitty parties, you'd go for, like family get-togethers. And a lot of times you would see that, you're probably something that you worn in the morning. Evening that becomes really tight for you, or it becomes really bloated and your stomach feels really bloated. That's not normal. So getting to understand that there can be a solution that you can draw for it is very, very important, and we can work around that. Number 4, you want to look at the fact that, number 5, you want to look at the fact some of us through this lockdown, obviously because everybody's been home, there probably some more stress. We're also enjoying with our family, but there is more things to take care of at home with everybody around. You notice that your mood is not really good, or that you're upset a lot of times. There is a mood swings that you keep having, or you're edgy more often, or you're angry more often, or you're upset more often. That is also a sign that your mood shifting is a sign of gut health not being okay. So you again want to check out if you're feeling any of these symptoms. They are a sign that your gut balance is not okay. And I think it'll be so difficult to even make that connection. So that's what I'm helping you all, do that here today, so that you'll see that there is a connection that meets your eye. Apart from gut health, is not only about digestion, it's about a lot of other things that it actually, like I said, controls or works around. And that's why we need to see that these symptoms can be causing disturbances in our body. Number 6, I'd love to talk about the fact that there can be a sleep issue. So a sleep issue, for a lot of us, say that we don't get sleep, or we don't get quality sleep, you don't sleep well at all, or you have a very restless sleep, or you have restless leg syndrome where your leg keeps jerking like that at night, or you feel tingling or burning sensation in the legs, or you kind of feel fidgety in the legs at night, or maybe when you're sleeping you tend to kind of have a lot of snoring, or any of these things could be a possibility. And you feel like you have a very, very hard time falling asleep, or you have insomnia. All of these relate back to your gut. So it's very, very important to understand that. Also, for some of you, I'd really request all, if you all feel comfortable, please come on your videos. I'd love to have a facial interaction also with you all. So you all want to try and be able to do that. And yes, for the questions, as soon as I finish with this section of it, I will come to answering your questions. So please do, if you feel like, please keep your videos on so that we can have more of a face-to-face interaction. And it's lovely to see you beautiful ladies showing me, a lovely way that we can interact with each other. And it's always nice to see you all. So feel free to do that. It's always nice to have a face to talk to. So coming next to the facts, so we spoke about sleep, we spoke about gas and bloating, digestion, issues with constipation and diarrhea. We spoke about headaches, we spoke about body pain. Another thing that I'd like to share is having a lot of skin rashes or acne, or flare-ups of redness and swellings on the skin, or having things like, maybe having pimples or, any of these things, or having a lot of itching in certain areas of your skin, are all signs that the gut is probably imbalanced. So that's another presentation, or even hair fall for that matter, suddenly can be an issue which you can correlate with that, because your hormones are also very closely correlated to, your gut. And last two things that I'd like to share about is your, breathing or allergies. A lot of us do have some wheezing, have respiratory issues, have bronchitis, or may have a lot of sneezing attacks, and all of these things, have a little bit of a heavy breathing. All of these also can be related to a gut imbalance, and you may want to actually check out for that if that's something that's an issue with you. And last but not the least, my favorite one that I see most of our people in our practice come back and come and tell us this. As a gut specialist, we try and work around as many issues relating to gut and give people solutions. And the last thing that I'd like to share before we move on to other questions, is the fact that a lot of women, men come and tell me that they are following a very, very, very healthy form of a lifestyle. They're exercising really well. They're doing everything that they can possibly, but they are not losing weight. They're not losing inches. They're just feeling heavy, bloated, tired, fatigued all the time. And that's a really big sign that your gut is not okay. So you may be trying to really stick to a plan. You've determined to eat right. But even then, if you're not losing weight, even after an exercise of a good 30, 40-minute regular workout that you have, you're not losing weight. It's a really big alarm bell sign that your gut is not okay. So I'm just going to do a short, sweet, quick repeat. It's your diarrhea and constipation. It's gas and bloating. It's headaches or migraines. It's having sleep issues, or not having restful sleep, or any of these, insomnia or restless leg syndrome, having wheezing issues or breathing issues, having gas and bloating like I mentioned, having hormonal issues and skin rashes, skin boils, itching, hair fall, any of these things, having joint pains which could be shifting in the body from time to time in the day, and having mood issues, feeling more angry, aggressive, edgy, irritated very quickly, upset without reason, and also having issues with losing weight. All of these are really a sign that your gut is not balanced. So you want to try and fix that and figure a way to do that. And I'm more than happy to help y'all understand how y'all can do it. So I'm going to move into, just give me a moment. I'm just trying to, yeah. Okay, so I've got the questions here. I'm going to take, so if any more people would like to ask questions, please feel free. I'd love to answer them. So Mayuri, again, I think earlier you asked how long does it take to digest pasta? So I think, Mayuri, it'll depend on the kind of pasta it is. If you're having a normal maida pasta, then your pasta may actually kind of get digested, say, in a much shorter time, because, anything which is starchy takes a much shorter time to get, like rice or maida. Everything gets really, really absorbed very fast into your bloodstream. But if you're doing a buckwheat pasta or a quinoa pasta, and if you're doing more vegetables, it'll take longer to digest it, maybe about 2-3 hours or longer to digest it. The more healthier the form of it is, or the more fiber there is in the pasta, it'll take longer to digest. Vaishali has asked me a question. My husband, Dr. Have. Yes. So Vaishali, I think, thank you for sharing this with us. So definitely what you're sharing about is the second type of, it's called something like an irritable bowel syndrome, where you do have things like, motions and everything when you have to pass more than 3 times, and then you don't have to put pressure. They may be slightly more loose stools. So it's important to be able to add maybe more soluble fiber for them, things like oats or barley or apple or things like that, which help in binding the stools better. Because the reason that they may have to go a couple of times in the day is also because they may not be actually satisfactorily, kind of clearing the system in the one time. And because they don't have to put any pressure, that's a sign that they may not have constipation. Can you hear me now? Am I better? So they may not have constipation, but they may definitely have things like, like I said, irritable bowel syndrome, where the motions or the stool is not very tight. So adding soluble fiber will definitely help to kind of tighten up the motion and try to move towards a motion type, which is about more, type 4, which is a normal kind of a motion, rather than having looser stools. And the more that they can pass more, kind of the right kind of stool at one time, they will have lesser difficulty in going, they not have to go 3 times in the day. Gypsy has mentioned, would like to know that my son, who's 8 years old, and he wants to eat sweets and overeats and wants to eat everything. Since lockdown, there's hardly only workout. He passes too much gas. I make him drink. So for gas, my top favorite, and for all of you also, I can take back home something. Gypsy, one of my top favorite kind of ways to say that, so obviously get him, if he wants to eat something, ensure that you're talking to your child that after doing any kind of eating, any kind of food, which is maybe healthy, unhealthy, whatever that he's eating and whatever he's asking for, it's important to do some amount of physical activity, say, maybe some household things like putting things back from one time in one place to another could be one thing. So getting him active on his feet and not letting him only sit or sleep after that, or maybe play video games or watch something is important. Secondly, you want to try, yes, to increase his overall water intake to about 2 to 2.5 liters per day, with 1.5 glass of water at least, or 1 glass of water throughout the day. And another thing, after lunch and dinner for gas, my top tip to everybody who has gas and bloating is to add half a teaspoon of jeera, 1 pinch of ajwain, 1 pinch of hing, and half a teaspoon of soft in warm water, and boil that and reduce it to half and give him to drink that, or you can also have it after lunch and dinner, and that will help you take care of the gas that's there. Also, it's very important to check, as he's still much younger, that after the fact that he's 8 years old, we need to figure that if he is passing stool well or not. So that's very important, that he's not getting constipated. So adding more water, adding more soluble fiber, like I mentioned earlier, or overall eating more vegetables and having water, and the jeera ajwain water will help. Vishali, you mentioned that you have a sleep problem, you don't get sleep. So number one, you want to check for the fact that because your legs are hurting a lot, you want to check if you have actually had vitamin B12 or D3 deficiencies earlier. Supplementing that, at least B12, you should supplement very, very well, because it's important that you have that, because, and D3 definitely you want to supplement too, but D3 may require you to have it tested at least. If 3 to 6 months back you have tested and it's low, then you can take that. Or otherwise for D3, if you can take a micro dose of the Uprise D3 5000 or 6000 IU per day, will be really helpful, and you can definitely have that, and that will give you some amount of, make you feel much better. So you can definitely add that and see. So that will really, really help. You may want to try that and see. That will help overall with the pain that you have in your legs. So B12, you can take something called Mega Neuron OD Plus. And for D3, you can take Uprise 6000 IU, or if you want to take a lower dose, that's 2000 IU, 1 per day, and Mega Neuron OD Plus for B12, 1 per day is a good option. Apart from that, the other sources of B12 are, if you're having chicken, if you're having eggs, if you're having maybe some dairy products, or you're having almond milk, like a vegan product, any of these things which are animal products in a way, at least those products will give you B12 and D3. Apart from that, one more thing for your sleep I'd like to recommend is that you can have magnesium-rich foods. So for any of you people who are having a little bit of an issue with stress, feeling very, very anxious, feeling edgy, can't sleep, your mind is overthinking, y'all want to try and increase magnesium-based foods, things like green leafy vegetables, almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, or y'all can add sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, having some dairy like yogurt. All of these things, magnesium is really, really good to help you sleep better, and will also help you, Vaishali, with your leg pain. So you can try and do that. How to get rid of the gas problem. So Mayuri, I'm going to come to which foods help gut health. That is going to be my last part of my section after this. So I'll share it that time. How to get rid of gas problem. Gas problem, like I said, the key to gas problem is to really avoid constipation. So gas is normally something which is there when the food that is already in your system is not removed out of the system as it should very effectively. It keeps decomposing in your intestines and causing gas. So like I mentioned, the jeera ajwain water can be had to help the symptoms. Apart from that, you want to ensure that you're having a proper motion. So for a proper motion, you can also start with 1 teaspoon of methi seeds in the morning, or a methi powder, half a teaspoon, because that also helps you with good motions. Like I said, eat more fiber. So fiber can be your vegetables, can be soup, can be like a stir fry, can be salad. At least one big bowl of that at lunch and dinner is essential. And having water every 1.5 hours is essential. That will really help you with getting rid of a gas problem. Even then, if you feel that a gas problem does not get better, I'd suggest that you want to try to keep your body cool throughout the day. One more top tip that I'd like to give you for the people who have very heaty body because of gas and constipation, you can have 1 teaspoon of sabja seeds, or maybe a little more over that, 1 teaspoon of sauf and some mint leaves in a 1 liter bottle of water, and keep sipping that throughout the day. And that may be a great option to have when the body is really hot, and that may really help. So you may definitely want to try and do that. The next thing that somebody, how to pacify, so I think Sneha, you're mentioning about how to pacify yourself immediately after somebody triggers you. I think the most important thing to do, because gut-brain connection is very important. We do believe that your gut, that's your intestines and your brain, talk to each other. The best thing to do at that moment is to actually do something called, and we really teach a very holistic view in our practice. So Sneha Kala, you can definitely try and use things like something called a 4-8-7. So a 4-8-7 is something that you can do where you are actually, breathing in for 4 counts, holding for about 7 counts, and breathing out for 8 counts. So this is a lovely practice that we all practice a lot. Like, I really ask a lot of my clients to really work on that in the practice. So you can do that. So you have to do that 4 times. So in the moment that you are really, really stressed, try to focus back and center yourself to your breathing, because that's essential. In that moment, when you center yourself, then you can probably express yourself and all of that, but your gut-brain connection is very strong. So the moment you want to focus on to a central of breathing, and that will be very helpful. So 4-8-7, again, I'll repeat, is you can look it up on YouTube also. It's a very wonderful practice. Or practice diaphragmatic breathing if you can't do 4-8-7. The babies, we all have at some point in time been in touch with, seen our own children grow up, or maybe seen, your neighbors' children, or whatever, known, family members. You see that when the baby is sleeping, the stomach goes up and down like that, right? So the same, that's diaphragmatic breathing, because as babies, we've known how to eat and breathe and, kind of feel sleepy and sleep at the right time in a very, very natural way. The same thing that you want to do is breathe right from your stomach and take it all the way into your chest, fill yourself up and feel better. So that may be another thing that you want to try and do. So I'm going to move quickly. Yes, I'm going to come to acidity also. So let me talk a little bit about, I'm going to come to some of the few questions later. I want to just wrap up the last 5 points that I have in mind, because that's a take back home of all the tips that I had. Some of the tips I've already shared with the question and answers, and I'll be coming to some of the other questions right towards the end now in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So 5 minutes more, most likely. So my top 5 things that I would like to share with you, which is really, really important right now post-lockdown for good gut health and for overall good immunity. We're also kind of right now helping 3 helplines for COVID-19. We're on calls with them. We're on calls with people who are probably in home quarantine. We're also helping people who are overall, obviously anxious, who are maybe senior citizens who need help with what to do when they're at home and how to really take care of their immunity through nutrition. So we are on 3 helplines right now. So just to add value to all of you, I'd love to share that, like we know that the virus is here probably for here to stay for a while. And please understand that we want to do one thing that we want to do is, we don't want to boost, or we don't want to have an underactive immune system. We want to support our immune system. Having an overreactive immune system can cause allergies, autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, cause more allergic responses, cause rheumatoid arthritis. We don't want an very, very excited kind of an immune system. We want to just support our immune system enough to make a difference to the way that we feel. So that's really important to understand. Secondly, please understand that there are no antibodies that we have in our body for the virus, like a COVID-19, because it's only when you come and confront the virus head on head, that is the time that your body can actually develop the antibodies to it. So because our antibodies are really, really not there, our WBC, which is the first line of defense that we see in our, that we see in our CBC reports, they are the ones that really fight hard and they are the ones that really have to pick up a fight if there is any infection or if we catch the virus. And the WBC's functioning really depends in a big way on your gut health, and depends in a big way on how some of these important vitamins are taken care of and how well balanced they are in the system. That makes your your WBC is more resilient to be able to fight any kind of infection. So my top 5 tips that I wanted to, so I already shared some about Jeera, Ajwain and all. I will not share any, I'll not want to repeat any information. So just to give you new information, I'm going to share a couple of things that I'd want to share with y'all. Number one, probiotics is what I'm going to talk about. So probiotics, like we already spoke about Yakult. So in the same way, not Yakult, I'm going to give you other options. So you want to try and be able to have probiotics. Probiotics are nothing but beneficial bacteria for your gut. Okay, and our gut really requires the balance of beneficial bacteria very, very well, because it's extremely important for the system to have this balance. So like I said, for the good bacteria to thrive, we need more beneficial bacteria, and that needs to be in the right balance with the bad bacteria. So you want to try and have foods that support probiotic growth, or that is active live cultures. So there are 1 or 2 strains which are very, very good in probiotics, called the Lactobacillus, Acidophilus, and Bifidobacterium. These are things which are like, they are strains of good probiotic strains, beneficial bacteria that you want to have. So number one, you want to try and have that. So you get that through several foods. So you can get it through your yogurt, which is an active live culture. So if you don't have any issue with dairy, you can try and have yogurt. You can also try and look at recipes of kimchi and sauerkraut and make at home, which are fermented vegetables. You can even use miso, which is an unfermented soy. That you can, unprocessed soy that you get, a form of soy that you can use as miso. You can also have, we've also heard very recently of kefir and kombucha that are also good for your gut health. You can also try and make homemade based pickles, which are low salt and low oil, that can be used. And apart from that, for the people who can't really manage to do more of these things at home right now, with everybody still at home and things still slowly opening up, you may want to try and get some probiotic in your diet. So probiotic supplement, something called VSL3. Again, I'll repeat, VSL3 can be actually had every single day, first thing in the morning or last thing at night. You can start with 1 and then increase it to 2 a day, which has all these beneficial bacterial strains. If you don't get VSL3, you can probably get something called Floristor. That is FLORISTORE, Floristor. So those again can be had. Or there is Vibact, that is VIBACT. So these are all probiotics that you can have either first thing in the morning or last thing at night. And that's very good to keep your beneficial bacteria in place. Number 2, like we need nutrition, even the these gut microbiome that we're talking about, they also need their food to feed on. And the bad food for them is sugar, processed foods, fried foods, alcohol, all of these things actually drop your immunity down for the next 3 to 4 hours, completely crash your immunity after having them. So really be mindful of the choices that you're making, and you want to try and be able to have things like you want to try and have food which is really, really beneficial for these good bacteria. So they're called prebiotics. Yes, I'll repeat the medicines shortly thereafter. So you want to have prebiotics. Prebiotics are the nutrition or nourishment for your good bacteria. So you want to have, say for example, you want to have onion and garlic. If you're not Jain, they are the best 2 options to have as prebiotics. Normally you even get supplements for prebiotics, but at least start with onion and garlic, which will help as prebiotics to help for the beneficial bacteria and for their nourishment and nutrition. Number 3, I would like that if you all can add, like I said, for the people who have sleep, who have anxiety issues, who have issues with having, restlessness, feeling, edgy and all of that, you want to probably try and add aloe vera. Aloe vera is a really, really good way to kind of calm down the nerves of your gut, and also to really help calm down your mental nerves when you're really, really feeling very, like edgy, snappy, tighty. You want to try and be able to have aloe vera. You can get an aloe vera pulp and have about 15 ml of that in the morning. Aloe vera is known to seal the small hole in your gut, and it is also known to be really, really beneficial to calm down the nerves of your gut. And like I said, there's a very strong gut-brain connection. It'll overall also help your mood, overall help the way that you feel, it'll improve your digestion, um, and make you feel great. So you may want to try and add on that, and that may help and that may make sense. You can definitely try aloe vera first thing in the morning, a small 15 ml pulp, and you can go up to maybe even 30 ml eventually, slowly and steadily you can increase it to that. So that's number 3. Number 4, I would like to add that vitamin D3 right now for your gut and overall health is very, very important. So vitamin D3 is not just a vitamin, but it's an immunomodulator. It's actually a hormone in itself, and which is really important to keep the balance of your immunity in place and also help your gut work really well. So it's important that vitamin D3, we understand, needs to be always between the range of 40 to 70. A lot of us have got our vitamin D3 reports done in the past, and we've realized that, it's not up to the mark and it doesn't help, because if you're at a 30 and we think it's enough, it's not. And especially in the times where we need more than suboptimal levels with the current situation, vitamin D3 is really one of the most important things that you want to have, because it really helps you to lower the replicability of the virus. So it's known in our studies, and evidence-based studies are also coming out, that we have to try and be able to supplement and ensure that your D3 levels are in place to keep a better immune function, to help your WBCs function better, and overall for better gut health. So you want to try and see, because D3 is something which is fat soluble vitamin, it may be difficult to have, without really looking at your levels or speaking to your doctor. So vitamin D3, you may want to test and take it, or you can take a micro dose of say 5,000 or 6,000 IU, and then you want to do that. So you want to try and, or maybe 2,000 IU per day as a micro dose till you can test your levels. So vitamin D3, again, very important. And last but not the least, another very important thing for your gut and overall for your immunity and for your health is zinc. Zinc is something that is really, really important, again, because it again also is known, and there has been evidence-based studies that, and I'm talking more from the point of view of COVID, because it's not only the main thing, but like I said, the gut health, they all are connected with each other. And I think to understand why that is so important is really, because when they all work in an alignment and balance, that's when they can work beautifully for your body. So that's why I'm sharing all this information, because we need to realize that we need to protect ourselves for months and months to come. And we need to set up a very strong foundation within ourselves, so that our body can put up a good defense fight if we do tend to catch the virus. Okay. So the idea is here today to really not spread fear, but to really spread education, empowerment through this knowledge, and to really be able to say that we can do the right things to really, really safeguard our temple, safeguard our body, which is really the most sacred place that we have, that we can live in. So again, the last thing that I'd like to share is that zinc you want to have. So zinc is really important, and zinc you want to have, again, these are evidence-based studies that I'm talking about. You want to have at least 50 mg of zinc. Now, zinc is more likely, again, present like vitamin D3 more in non-vegetarian food, or maybe in animal products, so like meat and eggs and things like that. So if you're not having too much of that, then you want to try and maybe have like you can get it from nuts and seeds, again, are a good option again for zinc. So you can have pumpkin seeds are really good in zinc, so you can definitely have them, and they are really important, and you can definitely try and integrate those into your system, or have something like a Zincovit that you have available at the chemist. So you can have all of these together, and that'll be very helpful. So I'll just do a repeat, because some of you are asking certain questions. I'm going to do a repeat of all the supplements again, so you all can make a note of that. Again, just before I make a repeat of that, I just want to close in, and before I can answer your questions and everything, 2 things that I'd really like to add today. As a gut microbiome expert, one thing that I'd really, really want to share, and we are a functional medicine practitioner. We're one of the only few in India right now who's practicing this science in the way that we are right now. We'd just like to let you know, from the way that I'm working and everything, that remember one thing, with all of these things that I've shared, the most important thing that you want to do for yourself, apart from just trying to add in these things into your system, is really doing 3 things every day. I know the lockdown is slowly opening up, but in a way, we all are still dealing and grappling with this new normal. So an important thing that I'd like to tell you all is, number 1, please practice every single day. Please practice gratitude. Gratitude again towards your body, towards every cell of your body that's functioning well today, is one of the greatest powers that we have to make all the food you're eating, all the nourishment you're taking in really work and work well in each cell of your body. Really understanding that the connection between your mind and your brain and your gut and your brain and all of these things that I'm talking about is very important, because our body only works in alignment. So really having gratitude for every cell working well in your body every day, and believing that that gratitude that you're giving to your body is really going into every cell of your system is very important. Number two, compassion is really important. There are times that you've probably not really done justice to your body. Maybe really, everybody's eating a lot of unhealthy food and you've not eaten really healthy, and now you feel guilty about that. Or maybe you're feeling guilty about something. You were probably on a program, you're trying to follow something and you were not able to stick to it. Or just generally having compassion towards yourself and then towards others is such a powerful anti-anxiety drug in its own self, that you don't need any over-the-counter medication for that. And really picking up a call and really just even asking one person per day, whoever it is that who probably lives alone or whatever it is, it's a 40 seconds of compassion towards another person can bring down your anxiety levels by 75%. So really trying to understand that these things are self-love, self-care, using gratitude and compassion are really powerful things that you want to do. And last thing that I'd love to share with you is, I think some of us are still obviously grappling with this new situation and all of that. Some of us are still grappling with trying to really make healthy choices at home also. Just remember one thing before you eat every meal, that is this meal truly adding value to your body by increasing your immunity? Or is this meal that you're eating truly working one step more towards destroying your immunity? And when you put the power in your hand to make that choice, you realize that really you are not at the mercy of the choices that you have in front of you on the table, or in front of you where your kids are eating or your family is eating, but you realize that really the power truly lies within you. So I just love to share these things with you, and I'm going to go back to just the 5 things that I mentioned for you all to have with the supplements and go to the questions. So number one, for probiotics, I mentioned something called VSL3. It's called VSL3 is one of the probiotics that you can use. Number two, you can definitely try and have, if you don't find VSL3, you can have Floristore. So that is Floristore, Floristore. And if you don't find Floristore, you can do Vibact. That is VIBACT, Vibact. So these are the 3 probiotics. I've covered that. Then we went through prebiotics, which is onion and garlic. Then we went through aloe vera. And then we spoke about vitamin D. So vitamin D, again, I'll repeat the supplements. Ideally, it really helps to have known at least your levels in the last 6 months, because vitamin D3 is fat soluble and excess of it can get stored in your body and make it toxic for your body. So you want to know what your levels are. Ideal range should be between at least 50 to 70, not even 40, 50 to 70. Ideally should be the range that you should suboptimally be in when it comes to your D3. 10, 20, 30 is not enough for your body, when especially you're dealing with something so huge outside in our environment. Also, if you want to take a micro dose, if you're not very sure and you still don't want to rush to a lab to get yourself tested, there are 2 options. You can either take a D-Rise, which is D-Rise 2000 IU per day, which is a very small dose and that will not toxify you. Or the other thing that you can have, if you want a slightly higher dose than that, you can definitely try to have Uprise. They have Uprise, or even D-Rise. They have another one which is 6000 IU per day. So these you can have per day. And if you know that your levels are off and you've got yourself tested, you can do something like Uprise D3, which is 60,000, or even a Ariketol Nano, which is 60,000. But again, check with your doctor, or you can check with a gut specialist like us, and then we can tell you what to do, and that way you can try and take care of that. And zinc, like I mentioned, Zinco Wit is one option that you can have. One Zincovit has about 10 to 20 mg of zinc only. So you may want to take, if you want to go up to 50 mg, you may want to take it twice a day. So these are the things that I'd like to share about. Moving to, somebody was still asking about jeera ajwain, I saw in the chat. So the combination is jeera, half a teaspoon of jeera, half a teaspoon of sauf, 1 pinch of hing, and 1 pinch of ajwain in warm water. You want to have that, and that will be really, really helpful to have that, and that will help you overall with your system, and you can help you with gas, with bloating. And before I, y'all can ask whatever questions that you'll have. I'll be here for the next 5 minutes more. Before I answer the acidity question and the low pressure question, I'd just like to share with you all a little bit about ourselves. So y'all can follow us on Janvi Chitalia Official. That's our Instagram handle for the latest updates on gut health. We are one of the pioneers in a way who are dealing with functional nutrition and gut nutrition, and we're here to find a way to educate you all, to learn more about how important this really is in the bigger picture. And the next 5 years, we'll see a boom in understanding how much more gut health impacts so many different things in our life. And you can also look up our website, that's www.janvichitalia.com. Follow us on Janvi Chitalia Official on Instagram. And also, we'll be happy if you all would like, we can send you all a chat, we can send you all, we're also happy to do, like if you all have any questions, we're happy to do a one-on-one, a consult with you all for about 20 minutes. If you all have any questions, feel free to message us, and we can get in touch with you, and we can help you understand your questions during this lockdown. I'll just go through the questions that we have. And before that, I'm happy to share my number with y'all. So if any one of y'all would like to get in touch, y'all can feel free to ask us your questions. If y'all have not felt very comfortable asking over here on the chat, y'all can call us and let us know, and we'll be able to help you, answer those questions really well, and, clear your doubts completely. So that's also possible. And about, I think the last 2 questions that we had, I'd like to complete so that everybody's questions are answered. So one was talking about acidity. I think somebody was talking about acidity. I think about acidity, the only thing that I'd like to say is the important thing, yes, acidity is very much related to gut health. So there could be an issue called the GERD, which is the gastroesophageal reflux, or there could be just hyperacidity. So hyperacidity, a lot of times we feel, is a fact that there is excess acid in our body, but most of the times people don't realize that acidity is actually because there is low stomach acid. So having things like ginger, having things like having things like oregano, having lemon, all of these things can actually improve the way acidity is. Obviously, you want to do it guided under a person, because when you are within a flare up of an acidity attack and you have something which is more pungent, that may increase your acidity at that time. So a quick tip, Simi, for acidity, I would suggest is definitely to cool down the body. And to cool down the body, the best tip I'd always say is to have a sabja seeds, or to have which are soaked for about 2 to 3 hours, or mint leaves. Calming down the body during acidity is the most important thing to do, because a lot of us do face that whole heartburn, and you're feeling the irritation and the tight chest pain that we get. That can be reduced by having this when you have an active attack of acidity. And overall, again, like I said, the key is to keeping your stomach clean, and that's what we're experts with. We help you understand the issue from the core and help you solve that. Also, I think somebody's asking about yes, you'd like to know about low pressure diet a lot. Like to know that. So Gypsy, for low pressure, I think the only thing to really do is to ensure that you're having a good amount of electrolyte balance. So a lot of times, if you are somebody who eats a lot of fruits or vegetables, you want to ensure that your sodium levels are in place. So adding with every other meal, adding some small amount of maybe like a pink salt or rock salt is important. Also ensuring that your water intake is really, really well taken care of is very important. There is some research on this supplement called DGL licorice extract. If you want, I can get in touch with you personally, let you know more about that. That's still not very, very well. All shops and right now don't have it, but that's something that's been known and been working on for low blood pressure, because there isn't really more of a remedy for low blood pressure. have to also understand that having really good hydration status is very, very important, and not overdoing fruits and vegetables, coconut water. These things are very high on potassium. So really keeping your potassium intake in place is very important. And last but not the least, somebody was asking about foods that increase insulin secretion. So insulin secretion can be caused by things like so when we have anything which is high sugar, that can cause insulin secretion. So high sugar can cause insulin secretion. When you're having rice, when you're having maida, when you're having sugar, all of these will increase your insulin secretion in a way. So see, anything that you eat, your insulin will react, because as your blood sugar reacts, your insulin will react to kind of control that blood sugar. But I think the important thing to understand there is the fact that when you do eat things which are not very healthy, which are fried and which are high on the kind of glycemic index or glycemic load. So if you're eating this much rice versus eating brown rice, or versus eating this much rice, all of these things will have a different insulin reaction, which will lead to more of the food that comes in at one time getting stored in your fat. So you want to ensure that you're having lesser carbs at one point in time, really measuring and having more a balance of protein, good fats and fiber in one meal, and not eating a lot of carb only, and trying to eat more complex carbs like nachni, maybe jawar, bajra, having rajgira, having buckwheat. All of these are great options to have otherwise. So this is really my thing, that you want to try and reduce the amount of sugars that you're having. That'll be really helpful. So thank you so much for having me here today. If there's anything else that you would like to ask, I'm here for the next 2 to 3 minutes. And it was great. Thank you so much for being such a lovely audience and interacting. And we're always glad. I think the only thing that we want from you all really is that if y'all can take back home even one thing to follow out of this. Our request is only that if you learn even one thing today and take it back home, that is really taking the chain forward in empowering people and really moving one step towards better health. So, I really say always, no matter how many times you fail to lose weight, no matter how many times you have failed to stick to a routine for sleep or for eating or for losing weight or for doing anything or for exercising, but remember that even the millionth time, the choice still lies with you to make that a priority and make it work for you. And nobody in this world can ever take that choice away from you. So really feel that and believe that the power truly lies within you. And, that's something that you can reach out to whenever you're ready, and it will always work for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Janvi, so much. It was wonderful and very, very informative session. I have also taken something, and I will do that. Yes, a lot of things, we come to know, and a lot of myths have been also cleared actually. So, anyone, any more questions if you have? Somebody was asking how to increase the insulin, right?
Yeah, that I already mentioned how to, yeah. Which foods increase insulin secretion? Yes, and for any questions, y'all can obviously feel free. Like, I think sometimes it is a topic where people are not very open to talk about certain things.
Yes,
The proof
yeah.
is,
So they can always.
free. I've shared my number. I have. You can message me on Instagram, and we'll be happy to help you in any way that's possible, and really touch your lives in any way that's possible. So it'll be a pleasure to do that.
So, friends, thank you so much for attending. Let me tell you, we are coming up with more interesting sessions next week as well with a couple of corporate people. And yes, this month, in the month of July, we are having online exhibition where people who have products can exhibit their products. So yes, we are doing that, and something very different, very initiative. So we will send you the details. But yes, again requesting, keep on sharing. It's very important. The more you share, the more you will yourself gain. So thank you so much once again, Janvi, and all the attendees. And we will get back to you with more and more lovely sessions. Any questions, people, you can ask Janvi directly. She has already sent the phone numbers, or you can always contact me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chetali. Thank you, we, for having such an amazing platform to getting everybody together and helping all of us grow and learn together. Thank you so much. And thank you for being such a lovely audience. It was a pleasure interacting with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah, please take care, everybody. Stay safe and stay happy.
Stay safe. Yes.
Bye.
Before that, one more. Sorry. We forgot one thing. Our V photograph. Yes, we need to have our V photograph. So everybody, please switch on your videos and let's have our V photograph. This is what we want.
Oh, okay.
W. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.